When I first stepped into RFK Stadium, I knew I'd found a home. The roar of the fans, the energy of the city, united as one, was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. RFK Stadium was the stage for the world's greatest in sports, culture, and entertainment. All in the heart of our nation's capital. It's time to revive that legacy.
Yo, what up? Another episode of Red Zone in the Lab. We have an interview today. College football and NFL wide receiver trainer Cam White is joining us today. We're going to talk about Tate, a little bit of Lemon, a little bit of Tyson. Not specifically about them, because I know you've heard a lot about them over the last few weeks, but just about the wide receiver position and how they fall. If you're not already follow me, if you're not already subscribed on YouTube, please subscribe. Check out the Riddle community. And also, you like some Commanders merch, you can hit me up at rzinTheLab.com for some Commanders merch. And we also have Cam White. You can hit him up on Twitter, on X at RouteUniverse9. He has some cut-ups, some breakdowns of a lot of these wide receivers, especially Tate, for those of you who love Tate. He talks about Lemon, talks about Tyson, he talks about Brazzle, he talks about a lot of wide receivers. Also on Instagram, when he has more cut-ups, more film breakdowns on these wide receivers, and him as a trainer and how he trains, and some clips of the people that he's trained. You can hit them up on Instagram, Route Universe on Instagram. Check out Cam White, man. You will not be disappointed. Let's get to the interview. All right, man, we're going to get right into it, man. Cam, man, I appreciate you again for joining, coming, and chopping it up with us, man. Just going through your profile, right? Seeing some of the work that you do a lot of times, because I see you in spaces too, right? And spaces, for those that know, is a whole different animal, right? When you in certain spaces, right? Just give us a little bit of background to kind of what you do, the processes that you do, just what the information that you're about to give us. Why am I going to listen to him?
I think generally speaking is that I look into the receiver position with great detail. I don't just only look at highlight reels or the good. We also talk about the bad. And I feel like a lot of players, they respect that because, if you know what you're talking about, the reel is going to hit. So if I'm talking about somebody's amount of steps they're taking into a curl route, for example, and they still catch the football and it's still a good route. But in NFL, I say if you just take one less step and open up at that hip, it'll be a lot easier and a lot faster because more DBs will break on that quick if you're taking extra steps. And I feel like people respect that because, again, it's more detailed details about the routes and whatnot. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about those things, and that's what I like to address. Things that most people don't talk about that need to be talked about.
Route Universe, like what is that? And let me Route Universe 9. It got me thinking, oh yeah, maybe he just was fast as a mug, and them 9 routes was just insane, right? But like, what's Route Universe 9?
I mean, Route Universe 9 really, I just got the name just for like, I don't know, just everything. Every route is universal. Like, I remember just talking about one of my guys, like one of my receivers, like, there no longer is no actual route tree. You can branch things off on different branches. Like you have a pivot route, there's a blaze out, there's a sluggo. All these routes, there's different nuances to them all. So that's everything's universal. And like I said, there's 9 variations of them. So that's why I got route, because we run routes. Everything's universal in route running, and then 9. There's 9 variations. So it's kind of how I got to it.
And it's so crazy, right? Because I've been kind of thinking that way over the last couple months, right? So
Yeah.
like, I'm more so linebacker, D line type guy, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
I might as well change my profile, right? I could be Route Universal 8, right? Because I've been kind of having the same thought, is because when you think about this route tree, it's been around for generations beyond generations.
Yeah.
And when you actually watch football, even if you're a casual watcher, you're seeing branches of that tree that's not one of those numbers, right?
100%.
So for you, like, how many, and it's probably not even a number to it, but how many branches are on this route tree in 2026?
it's it's unlimited. It's unlimited because guys run certain routes differently, and there's just so many variations. I would say it's almost unlimited. There's probably some variations we haven't either even seen on the big stage yet that guys are cooking up on in the off season, you know? So I would say it's unlimited. I don't think it's just 1 through 9. There's different branches, and I think those branches go on forever like numbers.
Um, and most of these discussions for those that are listening is solely kind of based on the Commanders and pick 7 and Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate,
Mhm.
Makai Lemon, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at film, what are the 3 things that you look at before anything else?
I would say, like, just from the jump is route running ability. And then once we get past, oh, he can run some routes. I want to be able to see, can he manipulate coverages in DBs? If they're shaded one side, can he manipulate them to go inside when he's trying to go outside? You know? And then also, I like guys that look the football in, not just catch it, but the details matter. Slowly looking it in and through the tuck, because we see a lot of guys, whether it's drop issues or even if they're catching the football, we see a lot of guys catch and just turn without looking the ball in. You know, so those are the main things from the jump that I look at.
So when it comes to the manipulation process or trait, when it comes to those 3 guys, put them in order. Who does it the best?
As far as manipulation, I would go Carnell at number 1, Makai number 2, and Jordan Tyson number 3. So again, they all do it well. That's just my
Yeah,
order.
yeah. So when you hit a word trait and skill, like, I don't know, let me know. Is there a difference between those 2 adjectives? If is, what do they mean?
Yeah, I would say trade is basically what you have, you know, your height, your weight, all those other things. Skill is something you develop. You can develop being able to tempo your routes. You can develop your hands. You can develop your route nuance and route running. You can develop your releases. So that's what I would say. That's how you differentiate the two, really.
Yeah. Um, how much do you value 40 time over actual play speed?
I would say it depends on the situation. But to be honest with you, if I'm watching game film and I see somebody that is flying back past people every single player, anytime they catch the football, whether it was with the route running or just straight vertical speed, and they go on to run, let's say, like a 4.58, it doesn't really matter to me because that just shows me, okay, they're not a 40 guy. They're just not a 40 guy. They're game speed, but in game speed, I see them running like a high 4.4. So I would say there's a lot of context, but to be honest with you, I don't look too far into it. It's cool, but what really matters is not them getting down in that 3-point like stance, that track stance, and what matters is them in their receiver stance running routes, decelerating and accelerating.
How much time do those guys usually? Because I'm quite sure you help with speed too, right? Like,
Yeah,
how much time do they put in just to run that 40?
probably about 6 to 8 weeks, like right after the season. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. So just ranking those three when it comes to play speed,
Mhm.
rank those in order when it comes to play speed.
Playing speed, it's still the same order: Carnell, Makai, and then Jordan Tyson. Because a lot of people thought Makai would be a lot faster than what he ran, but that is because he's a game speed person. He can go. He's got yak ability. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it with all three, but yeah, so it'd be the same exact order in my opinion.
What's more important, route running or the ability to separate?
What's more important? I would say they kind of go hand in hand. Reason being is because when you're running routes, you create the opportunity to separate. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people I feel are getting those two misconstrued. They go hand in hand. Because again, when you're route running and when you're tempoing routes, you're creating the opportunity and the ability to separate. So I say they go hand in hand really.
Is there anyone that you could kind of think of just like offhand who you would say is not like a great route runner, but for some reason they always are separating?
Always a separating. I would say not an elite route runner, but I would say Mike Evans.
Okay.
He's a very good route runner, but he's always getting open his entire career. There's a reason why he's had so many years of 1,000+ yards. Again, he's not elite, but he's very good. But he's always creating separation, always in the right space at the right time. So that's one guy from the top of my head that I could really think of.
What does that have to do with for you to be able to separate if you're not like this great route runner?
Being able to, yeah, then I would say being able to use the traits that you have, using your body, using your strength, or even your IQ. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things
Oh, okay.
that's what I would say. Like I said, it goes back into manipulating DBs, and then they also go hand in hand. You can manipulate DBs with your eyes, with your head fakes, or even with your body. So again, it could really be both. It's really crazy once we talk about it because it gets so deep. It's not
Yeah.
just that black and white. It's all the colors we can think of.
Yeah, and I could kind of tell, like when you, like I don't know if you noticed, but when you answering the questions, it's like you're out there training. When you giving the answers, you got this, you got that. So like I
Yeah,
love,
just
like, I can
it's like
tell it's
reading a
a
book,
passion.
man. I picture it in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And you talked about like manipulation and IQ. How important is leverage during a route?
Leverage is super important because you know exactly where you need to attack and where that leverage is. So let's say, for example, Carnell Tate, he ran a post against Penn State. The DB was about 8 yards off, slightly shaded inside. I think he was splitting him. What he did was he stemmed inside. The DB started bailing, he was trying to play catch technique. Once he got closer, he got to his toes. He sold vertical. The DB flipped his hips towards the sideline. And as soon as the DB did that, he crossed his face for the post. That's a great way of attacking leverage. Being able to manipulate himself and not just run straight at him
Mhm.
to his favor. Being able to sell inside like you're running the dig and then go back out like you're running a nine, but you're really running a post the entire time. Now there's levels to it. Some may do it better than others. Like I feel like Carnell is arguably the best at leverage
Okay.
in IQ, but then I feel like Makai at some instances he's also good at manipulation as well. And I think
Mhm.
Jordan Tyson is just all around pretty good at all three of them. There's some
Yeah.
development, but again, he's still at the top of the receiver class with that.
What's the biggest adjustment from college wide receivers in the NFL? Like, what do they struggle with the most?
I would say understanding that in the NFL, a yard or half a yard of separation is open in the league. A guy may be
Mhm.
trailing you on your hip, but you're considered open because everything is much tighter and the plays are faster. Everything's just faster. You're not going to be 3, 4 yards wide open on every single play, even if you run a great route. Guys are more technical, guys are more physical, and guys are just faster as well. So that's where being technically sound and mechanically sound comes into play when going transitioning to the next level.
And how do you prep your college wide receivers for that? Like, what do you try to instill in them, or what do you try to like drill into them how important that is to go from the college to the NFL? Smaller that window is.
Yeah, so like for my guy Darius Clark at Kent State, he runs a 4.38 40, but I try my best to let him know and understand mechanics are going to be your bread and butter because you got the speed, you got the athleticism, you got the hands. We need to make sure and drill down that you are a mechanically sound receiver, because if you are able to use that along with the traits that you developed and everything, the skills or whatever, you are going to be a force. That's why I tell all my receivers, mechanics are going to keep you in the NFL. Traits and whatnot, they get you drafted, right? But the things that you work on as far as mechanics, nuance, and everything, they keep you in the league. That's why guys like Adam Thielen have been in the league so long, because his mechanics have been top tier.
So, would you say that's the reason why? Let's just say, like you talked about the guy you were. Any other receiver that might be fast, might have the hands, might can just run right by people. But in the NFL, it doesn't click. Like they're not able to do. Like for instance, De'Ami Brown, for instance, with us, right? We saw what he was able to do in college, run by and create those type of stuff. But it seems like it's more of a struggle here. Where do you think? Like, why does that happen?
It could be a multitude of things. It could just be it's not a great fit. It could be coaching. It could be he's not comfortable. It could be a multitude of things, really. I can't really say for certain, but I would say it's not just one thing, if I'm being honest. I would say it's a multitude of things. And every situation is different, so it varies, honestly.
What's more likely to produce success? And this is I think I thought about this question last night.
Yeah.
An elite quarterback and a bad receiver, or an elite wide receiver and a bad quarterback?
Yeah, that's a tough question, only because I think we've all seen both. Now, I've seen variations of, let's say, like you got Josh Gordon, how he was able to do so well with 3-4 different quarterbacks. Now they weren't winning, but the offense was explosive every single game. And then you got a time where I think the Bengals quarterback, the backup, he did well with the receiving core they had, but it wasn't consistent. So I do think I would lean more towards having an average or slightly below average quarterback with a great receiving threat or receiving core, rather than having a great quarterback and guys that can't separate or catch the football. Because you could have, let's say, like a Pat Mahomes or Tom Brady, but if guys aren't getting open, you know what I'm saying, or catching the football, what good is that? Now you got a quarterback that knows the nuance of route running, that knows the nuance of understanding coverages. If he just gives them a chance, they can go up and make a play. So I would say I would lean more towards the receiver being great, but I think we've seen variations of both, in my opinion.
And to stick with the quarterback, what's more important to a quarterback when it comes to the wide receiver? Is it more so, hey, look, I need a route runner that I know I can go to on third down, or I need someone with like elite separation ability? And I know you said those things kind of go hand in hand, but a lot of times, a lot of receivers don't have that. They either have one or the other. Right. What's more important to the quarterback?
I would say a guy that can just get open, at least in my opinion. Because if you trust and know he's going to get open and get there, you should also trust and know he's going to catch the football. So you got to get open first. You got to get open, and you're at a better odds of making that play when you're open, when you're creating separation. So yeah, I would lean more towards that.
When it comes to Terry McLaurin and the Commanders' offense, you know what type of wide receiver Terry McLaurin is. How would you kind of describe the wide receiver Terry McLaurin as far as his gameplay on the field?
I think he's an intermediate guy that can dominate. I think he's also a vertical threat. He's a great route runner. He doesn't really give many indicators. I think he's just really smooth in what he does and being able to get vertically downfield as well. I really like Terry McLaurin's game. Always have, ever since Ohio State.
Yeah. Which one of these receivers, Tate, Lemon, or Tyson, complements Terry McLaurin specifically?
I would go Tate first, only because of his spatial awareness. And I feel like when you have a guy like Jayden Daniels, the play's never over. He needs a guy where if something breaks down, Carnell's right there on the corner route. I got it. He's coming back to me. You know what I'm saying? And then I would also go Jordan Tyson being second because of the athletic ability, because he's able to freelance as well with his spatial awareness, and he can go up and make a play with his athleticism catching the football. So I would say that. I would say those two for sure at number
All right.
7.
And when it comes to Jayden Daniels
Mhm.
and his game and how he plays, which one of these 3 wide receivers will complement him the most?
Ooh, I'd still have to lean with Carnell.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, the play's never over. And
Right.
Carnell, we've seen in his years of college football that whenever the play's breaking down, he's always in the right position. He's always in the right area to make a play and help his quarterback out. So yeah, I'd still lean Carnell in that aspect.
Sell Carnell Tate to the Commanders fan base at 7
Mhm.
if Love is still there.
Okay, so here's the thing: when you Terry McLaurin, great receiver, has been for years, been really consistent, but you need another guy. You need another guy when the ball was thrown his way. It's going to be a first down more than likely, or a touchdown. He's coming down with the football. He runs great routes. He can run all the routes of the route tree, anything you want. He's 6'3". Anytime Jayden Daniels has to get out the pocket, expect Carnell to make a play. He's just something you need to complement Terry McLaurin to help elevate that offense and help Jayden Daniels succeed in this league. He's a guy that can do it all. And if you want someone that can block edges, can block linebackers, Carnell's your guy. He does it all. He's been coached really well. And not to mention, he went to the Ohio State University, and we've seen what they've done with that factory of receivers. Why not? If he's there, why not?
Yeah. What do you say to the people that say, well, he had Jeremiah Smith on the other side?
That doesn't matter to me because every other receiver,
I know you've heard it,
yeah,
right?
every other receiver would have been number 2 to him in the country. I mean, his
Right.
coverage is still got to be beat. You still got to run good routes. You still got to make plays. So what we can only do is grade him on what he did, and he looked very good doing it. I think people misconstrue it. It's really hard. It's harder than what people think winning versus guys that are in man that are 8 yards off of you when you have a deep route. That's actually really hard to do. It's not as easy as what people think. So, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. He still got to go make plays, man. He did. So,
All right. So just taking all the wide receivers that you've ever watched growing
yeah.
up, all the hours that you've ever watched. If you're building the supreme wide receiver,
hmm
give me those names that will make up the supreme wide receiver, as far as speed, hands, route running, leverage, manipulation, separation.
Okay, so let's start out with release packages. I got to go Devontae Adams. Have
Okay.
to. So route running would probably be Justin Jefferson. Hands would be DeAndre Hopkins, or I would say DeAndre Hopkins or Larry Fitzgerald. I'd probably say Larry Fitzgerald just because, I mean, more tackles than drops. So deep threat ability would be Tariq Hill, obviously. Physicality would be Megatron, absolutely. Yak would be Jamar Chase because he's a yak demon. And then IQ, I'd probably say Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup.
Okay. Yeah.
That is what I think would be the most elite receiver in history.
All right. Last questions. Outside of these 3 guys, what
Yeah.
are a few more wide receivers that you kind of see at this draft that you think will be successful in the league?
Chris Brazzell. Chris Brazzell is
Yeah, I
a
saw your thing.
6'5", 6'5" route runner. We have never seen this. We've seen 6'5" guys, but the type of route nuance this kid is running is ridiculous. I'm seeing him get out of routes like he's a 6'1" route runner, like a Stephon Diggs or like a Justin Jefferson. It's absolutely insane to see that on top of his 4'3", I believe 7 speedy runs. I saw it when he was in film. You could see it on his deep threat ability. He has a 4.3 speed. I would say him, Omar Cooper Jr. He's something special. He can play almost any position. He runs great routes. He's extremely physical with the ball in his hands. And also Casey Concepcion. I think he's, if not the best, the second best route runner in this entire class. He runs every single route you want. He can play. He's very versatile. He can play slot. He can play X. He can play Z. I mean, he's just he's. I think he can be special. So yeah, I would say those 3 for sure are what people need to start looking at more early in the draft.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much, Cam. But you kind of said something that I've been kind of thinking about just now. Um, do you think, or like as a guy that trains wide receivers on all different levels, do you train to get the receiver head space or thought process out of just being a slot, just being a boundary guy, just being a gadget guy? Do you try to just make them be a complete wide receiver rather than, oh yeah, he's just gonna be a slot guy?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So it depends really on the receiver. At first, you want to be able to help them understand what they're good at. Know your body, know your traits, know your skills, and then let's refine that. Once those are refined into up to their level, then we can branch out and see, okay, so how would you do at the Z? You've been a slot your entire life, but you have the route nuance, and you're not going to see press that much. Let's have you out at the Z. Let's run some deep 18-yard digs and see how you do out there. But yeah, I do push versatility just because the more versatile you are, whether it's in grade school level, high school level, college level, or even especially NFL, you're gonna get on the field faster. The more things you're good at, the more things you can do and help the team win or help the team succeed, you're gonna get on the field faster. So to answer your question, yeah, mostly I do push to be more versatile.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cam, for joining us, man. Let everybody know where they can follow you. Let everybody know if they looking to be a NFL wide receiver, how they can contact you. Just let us know all of your handles.
So on Twitter, it's just Route Universe, one word, and then 9. On Instagram, it's just Route Universe, all one word. I post film breakdowns. I post a lot of the drills I do. I post drills of me working with receivers and everything. So, and on Twitter is more about just me talking about the game as well in words. So, yeah, it's just we're all constantly learning. So, yeah, I love it.
All right, Mike on deck. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 a.m. Riddle Radio is back from 8 to 10 only on X. On Thursday, Riddle Radio at 8 a.m. again from 8 to 10. And also later that day at 7:35, we're have an interview with Devin Jackson, NFL draft writer, is coming to join us to talk a little bit about the draft. We got to get back into the draft. It's that time of season. And we're also going to look at the contracts of some of our defensive players and anything else that's trending. That's going to be on Thursday at 7:35. Thank you much for tuning in today. Thanks to Cam White for joining us today. I know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.